Great. All right. We'll start with Anthony if anyone has any questions. Christian, go ahead.
Thanks, Paige. Anthony, congratulations on the victory. Can you just explain what it feels like to win, get 3 points against a former team of yours?
Yeah, it's a good experience. Being on the wrong end of a couple of those battles with Calgary, so it's very nice to be on the former this time.
What was it like when you came in on goal on Henry? Obviously, a man you played against in training a lot of times, but Escalante wins a key header, and then it just kind of opens up for you. What was that like?
Yeah, no, flashbacks very briefly of Tristan Henry screaming at me in training when I've missed something. So very happy to put it past him and not have to hear that.
What's it been like, within the bubble here in terms of the team? Could just talk us through it today in terms of the team. It was a good example of a real collective effort, was it not? With everybody moving different shapes and systems throughout the game, and then having players get injured and come. It just seemed like a true team effort tonight that kind of sums up the way that the bubble experience has been like.
Sure, I absolutely agree. I think from beginning to end, the bubble has been a grind for not only ourselves but every player and every team. But I think tonight was down to a combination of the effort and the tactics. We got both spot on. I think they came out slightly differently to what we had planned for, and we adjusted on the fly and played the same tactics that we had in plan, just with a slightly different variation. And then it came down to pure effort. And I think that we outworked them tonight, and I think the scoreline reflects that.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you, Christian. We'll take our next question from Anthony Abbott. Go ahead.
Hey, Anthony, it's Anthony. So 2 games, 2 goals. You look ecstatic there. How are you feeling, bud?
Very, very happy at the moment. Thank you.
So the game was going nice and easy, and then second half they kind of came back into a lot. So how much pressure did you guys feel, and how did you just try to stop yourselves from being pushed back the whole time, because they were kind of pushing you back towards your own goal?
Yeah, no, I think in moments they had pushed us back a little bit, but conversely, I also think that we had a good amount of possession. We had also a good amount of chances created, and that obviously being up 2-0 at the time, you don't want to drop off too far. But I think we met them at a good line, and I think that really up until the 80th minute, it was kind of bit of cruise control and time to see it out. And I think it was the last 10 plus the added that they really stepped it up. But I think that the boys handled it well. Obviously, it's not easy once the momentum shifts and a penalty like that goes in. But the 3 points are ours, so we handled it capably, and I'm very happy about that.
Great game, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you very much, Anthony. It looks as if we have no further questions from Mr. Novak. So thank you for joining us, Anthony. I look forward to seeing you back at home soon.
Very much.
Welcome, Tommy. All right, we've got a lot of questions right off the get-go, so we'll open it up with CPL Fever first. Go ahead.
Hi, Tommy. Great game today. Congrats on the win against a very good Forge FC side. So I want to ask you about how you set the tone and your quick starters from the get-go. So very early on, you set the tone. Your team was full of energy. You scored in the 12th minute and again shortly after. And really right away, all of your cylinders are flying. So I wanted to ask you, how happy are you with the way that your team came out so fast?
Tell you what, very proud of the boys, because we had at least 3 days or 2.5, because there was one where we couldn't get much time because of the smoke that was here. But we had a few days to actually tactically prepare. So we talked about roles and objectives. We wanted to give a little bit of a different nuance than we had against them for a while. And we dominated possession last time, and they were comfortable with it. So we actually went the other way and allowed them to get a little drunk on possession. And we were able to counter them and open them up and score a couple of early goals, and could have had a third. But listen, credit to Forge, they're a terrific side. So at some point they're going to have a wave of attacks, and they don't give up. But I'm proud of the lads. They stuck to the tactical plan. We had to change it 1 or 2 times, but to do that on the fly in the heat of a game, in the final game of this, it takes some doing, and they were terrific.
Yeah, it's very impressive for a side to be able to switch tactics on the fly against a very good team like Forge. And a follow-up question that I just had for you is, how excited are you and the team to be going back to your home market now and playing in front of your fans?
Well, hopefully people recognise us when we come through the airport. It seems like it's been a lifetime here. Listen, it's been a challenge. It's been there's a lot of rewards. There's been a lot of tough moments, but in that you get to learn about the team. I think all the players, they'll be delighted to see their families, and they'll be glad to see the back of me and the coaching staff for at least the weekend.
Yeah, thanks again, Tommy, and safe travels.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for your question. Next up, we'll move to Michael. Michael, you can go ahead.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing tonight?
Always good when you got 3 points in the bank, Michael. You know that.
That's very true. I mean, looking back then at these first 8 games, I mean, you started the kickoff tournament strongly, you finished it strongly, pair of back-to-back wins, 14 points out of 24, 1 goal against average. How are you looking at these first 8 games, and what's the main positives and negatives that you're taking back to Calgary with you?
You know what, we're level on points in second play. You've got to be in the top 4. So we've seen this as, it's 8 road games, a chance to really blend the team together because we hadn't really had a pre-season. So we got to know them, got to put people in different formations, different balances, and see which relationships work. We went on a dry spell, 4 games without a goal. So that was something to come through. But, a goal era there, suddenly we're sitting pretty up there with Valor. But in reflection, sometimes, the hardest, the road to the top is whatever's in front of you. And we had to get through that, come through it. And I tell you, that's something we'll look back on and go, we showed the character now to put ourselves in the mix. But yeah, it's good. Listen, if you've got 8 road games, we're actually going to play 11 games here at IG Field this season and only 10 at Spruce Meadows. So we got to get good at being on the road.
I didn't know that. That's an interesting stat. I mean, another stat to throw at you then. You look at the top 5 just now, and 3 of the other 4 teams in the top 5 are the guys that you're going to play 80% of the rest of your matches against. So what are you expecting now for the rest of the season?
It's almost a totally different concept, isn't it? It'd be nice to be playing back on grass at Atco Field at Spruce Meadows because the pitch has been done, the lights have gone in, and it's like a putting green. So it'll be a different game because it's rock hard here, and you can see with the number of injuries that are starting to mount up across the teams, it's a tough place to come and play. So to get back to the grass will be huge for us. We want to use that playing back in front of our fans who are incredible. So yeah, we got to just concentrate on win as many home games as we can and keep trying to steal points on the road as best we can.
That's great. Cheers, Tommy, and safe travels.
Thank you so much, Michael. Stuart, we'll move to you next. Go ahead.
Hi, Tommy. Thanks, Paige. So you've been quite honest, Tommy, about what the Winnipeg bubble was for you. And yes, you wanted as many points as you could get, but it was also about learning about your roster on the fly and what they bring and what they're actually like in game situations. So what are some of the big things that you've learned about this club and these players in the last 8 games?
We're certainly evolving. We're younger. We are more dynamic in terms of where we're at. We've still got that seasoned vets, as you've seen today. Nick Ledgerwood was like Peter Pan, and Mason Trafford, we're just starting to feel a little tightness, so we had to make sure we managed him. But there's a really nice blend. There's, to use the All Blacks philosophy, there's no dickheads, and I think that's important because we want to make sure that we're a team that's hard to play against, but off the pitch, we're great in the community and we're great around the club and we represent our crest very, very well. So we're learning that the guys that we've recruited off season there, and there's a nice blend here. There's a very, very intelligent group because we went through about 4 different formations at some point in today's game. So yeah, we're happy with it. And I tell you, now we're starting to get that chemistry because we've been in tough games. That's where you start fostering that thing. And you see that with forwards, they've been together a long time now and 1 or 2 here. We've had, more than 50% of our roster has changed, but we're still thereabouts.
Great. Thanks, Tommy. Safe travels back home.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Stuart. Christian, go ahead.
Thank you, Paige. Hey, Tommy, great win tonight. I'll ask you first about your team. There's a couple of players I want to ask you about, but I think it means more to me to ask about your team because it was a true team performance tonight. But share with us what you're willing to share, but talk about the system changes, if you don't mind, a little bit, and your ideas about why you did it, because I know you started in a 3, seemingly went to a 4 to get some midfield extra there, and then back to a 3 again later and a few switches around. What were you thinking at the times you were doing it?
Yeah, do you know what? I think I said this even after the Halifax game. The tactics in this league are very good because it's teams that are now pulling chess moves on you that you've got to be able to to fly. I think I might have said this in 2019, actually, universality, where there's a lot of positional play now is fluent. And we use the key today about tactical fluidity, where at times we look like a 3-4-3, at times it's a 3-4-1-2, at times it's a 3-2-5 in attack, and other times in defense it's a 4-4-1-1. But what we said, every time you change tactics, it's 10 yards. So you're just saying, listen, go and play there. If they do this, stop that. And what they did, once we went to, they made the changes and started playing, with their wingers coming on the inside. So we said, all right, we'll just change it again. Here's a little nuance, right? You play 10 yards that side. We'll go back to the back three and protect those half spaces where Forge are very, very good at, and they can hurt you there. So we just flipped. Every time they tried to do something different, we tried to nullify. And, look, had it not been for that penalty, we'd have been sitting pretty here at 2-0. But, I said, I'm just delighted now we're able to do that on the fly in a game. That's a tactically intelligent team.
Just a couple of players I wanted to highlight to hear what you thought on. The one on Chiara, who seemed to really do a great job on Becker. Was that kind of the plan? And second on Klomp, who was seemingly immense again for you tonight. What were your thoughts on those players? Listen,
against Forge, their best players show up, usually in the big games. And Becker did that against us. He's had 2 outstanding goals. They played him in a deeper role. Actually, we had expected him to play higher. So I actually fit Joe Chiara. Joe's a man mountain, but he's one of these sticky players. You can play it to him and it's like glue. He runs with the ball. You see the goal at him and Ali Musse. I'm looking forward to seeing that back, because they were just doing this in practice where there was just give and go. And I thought, that's just, sometimes these partnerships come out organically, and got to give them credit. But no, Chiara is good because he's exactly suits the way we wanted to play. And I think he announced themselves to our fans really with that performance when it mattered.
And one on Klomp, if you've got one.
Yeah, wow. Daan Klomp, I said at the beginning, he was a clone of both, Jay Wheeldon and Dominic Zator. But I tell you, it'll take some money to sell him right now, because he's one of the best centre-backs. And we've usually had, like after Joel Waterman and the 2 ones, and Mason Trafford and Karifa Yao as part of an MLS group, we got some terrific centre-backs. Daan Klomp, he can defend, he can play, he can run for 95 minutes. And he just seems to be getting better and better. And that's only 8 games. He never wanted to not play. But again, terrific, massive upside. And we just got to keep working with him.
Thanks, Tommy. Congrats.
Thanks, Christian.
Thanks, Christian. Brandon, you can go ahead.
Thanks, Paige. Congratulations on the win tonight, Tommy. Just maybe wanted your thoughts on Ali Musse tonight. I know he went off with an injury there, but just with the goal and his performance up to that point.
He's a player. I said, he's going through a resurrection now, because I had him in 2018 with the PDL champions that we won in 2018. He joined Valor because he wanted to join a place where he grew up, and it didn't quite work for him. And these things happen in football. Was kind of just left and floated around Europe. And I just thought he's a type of player in this league that he's different, like Richard Luca, where they can buy you time and space. Ali's a very, very intelligent player. He's sticky, he can drop the shoulder. He's got a little bit of that, not to give too much, but a bit like that Mo Salah, where they can shift and they can go in on the left or can cut onto their right. And he's always got a goal in him. And I thought his goal today was a great team goal, but clinically finished. He's been doing smashing. Hopefully, I don't know what the extent of the injury is, but hopefully he's not gone too long.
Perfect. And maybe just a different question on a different track here. I know you don't get back to Reese Meadows until the 3rd, but just the best thing that you're looking forward to, or just something that you miss?
See my, and I speak for everyone. You see everyone in the elevators. It's just having a bit of time with your family. The guys have been terrific. It's been a grind for everybody. But this is what it needs to make sure that this league is a success. Everybody, we are many, we are one. We've all sacrificed a lot of things, as of our families and as of our supporters and owners. So I think we're all deserving of a weekend together. And then I'll see the players again on Monday.
Perfect. Thanks, Tommy. Good luck with the next one.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We'll head to Anthony next.
Thanks, Paige. Hey, Tommy. I was just wondering, how you mentioned there about you were setting up tactics and training and stuff like that. Like, there does seem to be lines of defense, and it was very hard for Forge to break through. How happy were you with the discipline of the lads that they stuck to their task and didn't veer off from what you were asking them?
Yeah, great. And like I said, when you've got a captain like Nick Ledgerwood, he might not catch the eye to many people, but to us, he's the he's the one behind the scenes that just makes us tick. And he ran his socks off and organised. And like I said, last time we had a lot of possession and got quite expansive, and then they cut us open, and we almost forged with a similar game plan where we were okay them having a little bit of possession where they weren't hurting us. But we had a couple of really good pressure pockets that we thought we could get advantage. And listen, we almost got a third goal. Had that third goal gone in, would have been a perfect night. So, gives me something to keep working on the boys with, because if they were perfect, then we've got another 20 games to go. So we've got to keep getting better.
And you mentioned in the last time that Anthony Novak, he just gets that one goal and he's going to take off, and obviously he got a goal again tonight, so you're obviously psychic. But how happy were his performance overall? He was immense tonight.
He was. I tell you, what he doesn't get enough credit for is his football ability. He's a hold-up striker, so you can play to him, you can play over. He's a very complete striker. You've seen his finish, because I had to talk to him. He was taking too many touches because he was overthinking it, and we signed him because he's instinctive. He'd done us a couple of goals, and we're like, he just takes his chances. So it was just getting him back to what he's at, be instinctive, take a one-touch finish, and he did that. And I thought his finish today, because he's dropped the shoulder and sold the lad a dummy, and then great finish, and could have had a second one, but his old teammates read him the second time. But no, he's great. You can play after him, you can play through to him, and when he gets his chances, he's dangerous. So no, we're delighted.
Congrats, and safe travel home, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. We'll take our final question from Steve. Steve, you can ask a question and a follow-up, and then we'll wrap up.
I won't have a follow-up on this, Tommy, but I just wonder if there's any conclusions or sort of observations we can draw after the bubble, because it's an unusual situation, about the makeup of this league in this year.
It's better. I think what you're seeing now is the parity. The time off, like 280 odd days. 2019, 2020, then another 280 days, gives a lot of teams to almost go back to the start again. And what we're doing is restarting. The likes of Forge and Pacific are hardly really changed, but a lot of teams have had some implementations. Valor have done a great job in terms of, they're having they play 18 home games than everyone else. So they've done exactly what we would do if we were at Spruce Meadows and use that to their advantage. And then everyone else is taking points off each other. We had our troubles with Atletico Ottawa. Halifax, it will only be a minute before they get back rolling again. It's a tighter league. It's a very good tactical league. So for coaches out there in the Canada Soccer Network, have a look, because every team's got these different fluent, and I think it's a really good league to watch, and there's been some terrific goals.